Welcome back to ScaredyCat's guide to the rides. You might be able to see just behind me, I'm sat outside the Curse of Alton Manor. Now this ride has a really special place in my heart because I swore for the longest time that I didn't do haunted houses, ghost trains, that type of thing. But this was actually the ride which converted me. It's that much fun. But of course, if you don't like scary things, then it is, you know, spooky themed, so might be one that you might not want to go on. But if you do, here's some advice for you. So first of all, do stop and watch the pre-show. It is incredible. There's nothing which jumps out at you in the pre-show. There's no actors in the pre-show, there's no actors in the ride at all. There are actors roaming in the area, but they're more fun spooky, not like horror spooky. So when you go in, you'll go through a graveyard. There's a couple of spooky moments in the graveyard depending on which queue you get. So if you get the extended queue, there is a little bit of a creepy doll to keep an eye out for, but she doesn't move, she doesn't do anything too intense, just might be a little alarming if you're not expecting it. So once you get in the building, you then have a little pre-show section. As I say, nothing jumpy in there, no actors, nothing like that. It's actually really beautifully done, well worth a watch. Again, all of this is spooky themed, of course, but I wouldn't say it's much more than spooky. There's very few points of the ride which go into full on scary. Now when you board, it is one of those that keeps moving and you get onto the seat as it's moving. Now if you do have access requirements, they can slow it down for you, so it is worth bearing that in mind if that's the thing which is stopping you from going on the ride. Now obviously I can't talk through every single one of the scary moments because, well, there's kind of a few of them, it's the point of the ride. But the advice I would give if you are a little bit nervous is try and sit in the middle of the car, as most of the jumps come from the right or the left. There aren't too many jump scares, to be honest with you. It's more spooky theming, but there are a couple dotted around. If you can't get a middle seat, then I would always recommend taking the left hand side if you're thinking direction of travel, as more of the jumps do come from the right hand side than the left hand side. However, do keep an eye out on the right because there is some really clever effects in there, and a lot of them are on the right and they're so worth looking at. Yeah, so that would be my most basic advice for getting on Cass. The thing I would say is, like, think of it like theatre, if that makes sense, more than a ride which is setting out to traumatise you. There's these little moments that are alive and moving, and it's really nice to just sort of buy into that story. That's the focus I would take from getting on the ride, rather than going, oh, I'm going to go on and be really scared. But yeah, that's my advice to you. You don't need to worry about live actors. There's a couple of roaming ones outside, but they're plenty nice enough. They're not there to traumatise you. There is a couple of things in the queue to be aware of, and just pick your seats a little bit carefully if you're worried about jumps. But yeah, if you do go on, please do let me know in the comments below. Let me know your thoughts. I'd love to hear from you. I do think this is a really great experience for people who are wanting to explore the spooky stuff but not wanting to be utterly traumatized like you might say at a scare maze. I'm sure they're fine. I wouldn't know. Until next time, take care.